I think the little he does too, though. You can't. I just got.
Turn that level. Test this. Okay, it's not much better, but it's a little better, I think. Hi, guys! I think the camera's just a little foggy.
Oh, that shit, something.
Anyway, hi guys! Welcome to what I hope is the final episode of the Trying to Finish the first half of the Chapter 3 trial.
We stay up on the archives.
Danganronpa.
So, the last two episodes have been kind of fucked because of our internet. We're hoping that we have solved that issue. It's been kind of fucked because of our internet. Okay, well, it looks a lot better on here than it does up there, which is good. So,
That probably means our defeat something.
that's popularity. So, let's try and finish the first class trial. If things go well, we will continue to be able to stream relatively okay. So one of those has got to be definitely the school life mode or whatever. But I'm curious as to what the other one of those are.
I have no idea. Oh, you don't know if you can hear it, but like, if you have misophonia, that
Oh yeah,
you already.
I am going to be eating a little bit. I don't think about that. I'll try to eliminate it.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar. So when I first discovered Ibuki's body, Hyoko... However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar, I didn't realize that at the time.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, it makes sense that you'd notice Ibuki's body right away.
So they used the baton lighting on the ceiling to hang the wallpaper?
That makes more sense.
The
That's
baton
auto
lighting
button.
forms a
Auto games have
perfect
an auto
circle
button.
around the pillar. So using
Yeah.
it to hang the wallpaper totally fits.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
Yeah.
That's how they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music venue.
Because they're an asshole.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the
You're
baton
ran
lighting.
out by.
The killer must have been in a hurry. Their plan took too long. Hajime could have walked in on it.
But going to the trouble of
I wish
hiding
Hajime would
the
walk in on
body
me.
and the pillar is very bold and risky.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone. They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
When was Hyoko actually killed?
Good point. And on that note, it's about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
That's... How is that on that note?
Because I like to see real things.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Inspired by young Sheldon.
hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
How is it inspired by young Sheldon? It's not! I just like to say that to confuse people.
Also, I agree with Monami. You suck, Monami.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
I think the voice line said mothballs, which makes more sense than mossballs.
I don't eat moss balls. I just enjoy looking at them.
She's my spirit animal.
I
I love
knew
this
it.
image.
There are so many similarities. It must have been
Oh, God.
intentional.
Yeah, Monami's weird. We're talking about spirit animals. Go over me. Look at it. Look at her.
She's so good.
I hope this doesn't turn into like. I'm pretty sure I already know the killer of this chapter. I could be wrong. But I hope it doesn't turn into like, it wasn't me. It was actually my secret evil personality. that did all the murder.
Ibuki's death by hanging
Big sister
matches
show.
the Scarecrow's death in the movie. Not just that, but Hiyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But why did the killer go to all this trouble in the first place?
Because none of us are robots.
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
Because the movie was so bad, someone had to kill them.
Because they're lazy. With the ghost face.
I see!
I just threw a random guess at the wall.
The reason the killer imitated 2 of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Yes. I still know exactly how this happened. I'll explain it again for people that haven't been here in previous episodes. Ibuki, who had the gullible disease, was told by someone, whoever the murderer is, insert who I think the murderer is, but I'm not gonna say it in case I'm right. They told her to kill Ibuki, not to kill Ibuki, to kill Hiyoko. They hunt and then subsequently tie up Hiyoko, and then hang herself.
Just devious enough to work.
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's
I
body
have
suggests
scanned.
that as well.
I have scanned all 100 possibilities. This is the only valid one. And
You need.
Nagito, and there was also a Nagito theory that said that there was actually a third thing. That's also slightly valid.
You're going to cry and beg like that. Then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's
What?
body.
Okay.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
Someone said Gundam has autism, and I fully see it.
What a jerk!
You're never
Says
gonna
the
be.
perv.
You're never gonna be. Jeez.
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed.
Yes.
That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the silk's feather.
Okay.
Your opponent
Gundam
is out
just
of
really
your
likes to play
league.
one D&D
It is
character
too
and have
absurd to
stops.
try to perplex
Yeah.
me so
No.
inadequately.
He built a character. It's like, this is the greatest character of all time, and then was immediately told no, stop, and he did never stop.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed.
What? Is somebody talking about feet?
How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Only my devas can see into the past and future.
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
Yeah.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
Being a real Nagito right now.
You're one to talk.
Why are you
You're supposed to be careful by the status when Hiyoko was killed. Son needed something to do. Okay.
Because he's the least interesting one.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor,
I mean, I did see her
was
walk.
there any sign she stepped on something?
Were there
I know.
even any footprints at the crime scene?
I pressed the button and
Maybe her
didn't
feet were,
execute.
but she was like sitting, so instead there'd be...
Weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart.
Wait.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet...
I am telling you to present.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Motherfucker.
Were there even any footprints at the crime...
Maybe her feet were, but she was like sitting, so instead there'd be...
Weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart.
Weak. That's super funny when it's sped up like that.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
For your guys' information.
Did you see her walk?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she's...
I agree with that.
I agree with that. Said.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of her slippers.
Yeah, she was a little shit.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck, and she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded, which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye! Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean
I'd
you have
say
a
you
rebuttal?
stink.
That's a good line. But are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know.
I want you to pick. So I know this is not true at all. So let's say that there's the theory of, you know, this is a whole like a video game VR situation, whatever. Like I've heard, played, but obviously it's not, because if we follow the logic, it can't be played by the Dong on one cast, at least not the full cast, because most of them are dead. How much you would want to bet if that was the case? Gundam is Hikumi's character, his D&D character that he got just way too into. You know, because he reads like that.
I would love to crack a theory, probably off screen. You look at all the characters and say, this is which character from the last game.
Yeah, Miyaki obviously plays himself because he's lazy and dumb.
You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status. However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
And this was made.
Which would also explain why he's called the ultimate breeder. Oh, that's a lot of shit.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko?
I forgot how to play this game.
Try to remember the crime. There was no blood on the floor.
Well,
Crap!
Okay, so
You're saying the blood on
the
Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no... You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about... Did you see a nice nightmare?
Is there like one that's like that's staying on?
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on...
no, that's wrong!
Allow me to cut through those words!
If this game was made like 5 years later, it'd probably be voiced by
That's
Master
not
Verse.
it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things! You don't have proof of
The
that at
killer's not
all!
allowed to do that.
That's rude.
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but... Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far. Aside from Miko, none of us were aware of that fact. So the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
Yes.
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file, just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yup, since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us
You would say
resume our
that's a
debate.
good thing to hold to your principles.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
What? Why? Why would you do that?
Again?
It's young Sheldon.
Didn't something like this happen
Oh,
last
of
time
course.
too?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Turn
Nagito, what do you
stuck
mean?
rabbit and
If the
kill,
victim
like,
actually committed suicide?
Sonya for Ibuki's
Well,
suicide.
I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered.
Yeah, she was. We've gone over
For
it.
example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That's totally impossible! Then she never would have killed her to begin with!
That's not how that works at
She
all.
was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can
If
happen.
anyone feels guilty, they would have done the thing that made them guilty in the first place. Right. That's not how that works. Not at all. Who voices Nagito, do you know?
Bryce Pepperford.
Is it Bryce Pepper?
He's the same voice actor as Makoto in both dubs.
More of my theory still working. Of course it is. No, because he sounded familiar in that when he said that.
But if Ibuki's
But not
the
like
killer,
Makoto, but like
she wouldn't
someone
have
else.
been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she
Correct.
was alive! When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
Jesus Christ.
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made
Okay, we're back. Yeah, but that doesn't make sense, Nagito. Do you understand that part? Okay. Why does the game look weirdly yellow?
She hanged herself! Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that!
Right.
And if she was going to fake her death,
Deep fake.
I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
Right.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw? According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
Probably could have been off with a gun.
Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
I figured this out ages ago.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Be silly, Sonia. Hypnotism is
Putting
real.
that aside, it
Murder
seems
parents and
obvious that the
conspiracies
killer
are the other
did
thing.
something. So maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was. So, an alibi.
So you also did.
Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi.
Oh my god.
Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
Yeah.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
What?
It's just a cheap ass surveillance camera. It doesn't record anything. That's only for high-end stuff, like
a phone.
like a phone. Or, you know, a regular surveillance camera.
Then the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
No.
Then we
Well, he's
just
saying
have to
'cause
find the person
he only died
who doesn't
before
have an
it, obviously.
alibi during that
Hey,
time?
you didn't see a movie get hanged? That she found herself during the announcement.
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
Ditchwa. Operation Ditchwa.
Wow, that was really strong. I was not a character until 5 minutes ago.
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
It's not
Aside
wrong.
from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then...
No, that's wrong! Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Oh no, my plan.
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning.
Hey,
Bum.
Hey, what kind of situation is that?
They got kind of suffocating with their boobs.
That line delivery and that strike do not match.
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
They're really selling this. Peanut butter radiating.
Too much info.
It's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
Oh my god, you said it the whitest way you could have. Jesus Christ. Nagato.
And we went to the hospital
I was making a joke
together
earlier when I said you were
so
you were a
together
white
until
boy,
right
a
before
British
the
white boy.
announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
They're tight alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
But
committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was?
Jesus Christ, man.
Faking the time the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process. Was that the only reason the killer made both bodies imitate the movie?
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad for confusing you guys so much.
No, you don't.
That's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
I apologize. I'm the only one pushing this trial along in any sense.
There's always a reason, Hajime.
There's always a reason, Hajime. There's always a reason, Hajime. And that reason we'll find out next time.
Oh dang, you came at the worst time.
Yeah, you did, Anthony.
Hiya!
Oh, there, Monami. The mothballs sure look tasty today. Don't characterize me as someone who lives off mothballs. And here's some chance time. Oh, what? Now then, Monami's appeal time starts now. Appeal time? Your kind-hearted big brother is gonna give you the chance to reclaim your honor. Good luck. Show those jerks who treat you like a redheaded stepchild who's boss. Go, Monami.
That's 99% your fault.
While you are whining, your time's already running out, so please make your appeal simple. About 30,000 words or so. So you'll just be a blunt appeal. Come on, if your appeal is successful, there might be merchandise opportunities heading your way. Hello.
Oh, you just changed your name. Hello, the Shiny Charizard. Thank you for subscribing. We're going to be taking a break after this, and depending on how things go, we might be streaming again later today. So, put us on notifications so you can catch every time that we're streaming. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Then I'm Ushami, Magical Girl. Magical Miracle Girl, Ushami. I'm an itty-bitty girl who's sweet like milk. Milk is typically not sweet.
I think it's Japan.
Jeez, and I thought a certain robot's little sister was supposed to be the best.
My guy.
What a disappointment.
What are you talking about? I have no clue whatsoever. Why? I would like to save my current progress. We've had a pretty rocky Trial 3 so far. Not as bad as the first trial. Not as bad.
Monami! Once again, I've been put in such an unreasonable situation.
And what's that situation? We'll find out next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share. We've had a really strange Chapter 3 trial. Not as bad as Chapter 1's trial, that poor lost baby. But, anyway, we'll see you guys in a little while. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Ciao, motherfuckers. And bye!